This fight is broken up into a lower platform and an upper platform. Before the fight starts, you want to create 3 groups of 2 people to go to the upper platform during phase 1 and 2. On Heroic, you want to create 6 groups. Demon Hunters, Monks, and Warriors are very good for this due to very high mobility and AoE. For the lower platform, when the fight starts, the tank needs to pick up the Dark Young ad. This ad will do an ability called Dark Bargain, which is cast when its energy bar is filled. The tank needs to drag it over Cyclopean Terrors right before its Dark Bargain ability, because when this goes off, the Terrors will take more damage, but anyone who stands in it will also take more damage, and also do 25% more damage and healing. So honestly, everyone should stand in the first Dark Bargain that happens at the start of the fight to get the damage buff. It lasts 30 seconds and he casts it every 20 seconds. Do not get 2 stacks of it. If you do, you get mind controlled. DPS should not focus the Dark Young ad, but cleave onto him and kill off all the terror ads, interrupting their torment. On Heroic, there's another ad to be tanked called the Blight Spreader Tendril. Kill this and interrupt its decaying eruption ability. It will burrow under the ground to another location, so watch out for this. Random players on the bottom platform will get explosive corruption. Run to the sides of the platform to drop it off, and 5 virulent corruption balls will emit out of the sides of you. On Heroic, if these touch anyone, then they'll get explosive corruption as well, so it's imperative that you don't get hit by it. Now for the upper platform during phase 1. If you have a Warlock that can place a gateway prior to the fight, then do that for more mobility. At the start of the encounter, you want your first orb group to go up the west ramp and have one person grab the glowing orb, using all the mobility you can to get to the end, but there are cysts in your way that the orb group needs to attack to reduce their slowing radius. At a certain point, the orb person will be rooted in place due to the orb, so they need to throw the orb for someone else in the orb group to catch. If they don't catch it, then you failed and the orb goes to the other side of the encounter. Now once the orb person gets to the end of the platform, click the doohickey and jump down. This needs to happen 3 times. Now after you've handled an orb, you get a 2-minute debuff called Imperfect Physiology. This means you cannot handle another orb for that 2-minute time. On Heroic, it's 5 minutes, hence the 6 groups. So the next orb group goes up the east platform and does the same thing. After they make it to the end, wait for the west orb to spawn, then group number 3 heads up there. Once all 3 orbs make it into the machine, a giant beam will come down from the sky and stun and kill all enemies in the field. Your group should group up for AoE healing during this portion. After 24 seconds, phase 2 begins and Cahoon comes out of hiding for you to kill along with no more ads spawning. Now during this phase, the tank should take turns tanking him while everyone is stacking on normal for AoE healing. On Heroic, you have to spread out at least 5 yards. The taunt off mechanic is Growing Corruption, which is a buff on Cahoon and goes up each time he attacks its main target. Swap it around 6 to 8 stacks. Cahoon will cast Wave of Corruption that'll put a Putrid Blood debuff on everyone. On Heroic, if you're close to anyone, it'll do more damage and you'll get more stacks of it, hence being spread out. A random player will get Blood Feast. They'll be rooted in place and have a red circle around them. Everyone, especially the tanks, should stand in this to get rid of their Putrid Blood stacks. An ad will spawn that needs to be tanked. It will be buffed depending on how many Putrid Blood stacks it's soaked up, but this shouldn't dissuade anyone from getting rid of their stacks because those things really hurt. Also, Explosive Corruption still happens during this phase, so get to the sides of the platform with that. Now at the start of this phase, orb groups still need to head up and do the same thing. It goes from west to east to west orb. Once 3 orbs make it in, a beam will come down, stun Cahoon, and increase his damage taken by 100% for 24 seconds. DPS him while this is going on. The beam will also do a significant amount of health. When the beam is over, there will be no more orb running, so everyone should DPS him down to 20%, which is when phase 3 starts. Cahoon will cast Collapse. There will be a big brown circles on the ground that players need to run far from. A rock will land there and kill anyone who it lands on, but it will do less damage the further you are from it, so get away. If you have an ad at the start of this phase from Blood Feast in the previous phase, then DPS should focus it down instead of attacking Cahoon. Collapse is over after 20 seconds. At this point, you should Heroism or Bloodlust to take Cahoon out. He'll still cast Wave of Corruption, which will put Putrid Blood on players. Remember, if you're on Heroic, then stay spread for this phase. There will be no more Blood Feast, which means no more ads, but this means raid damage will be very high from the Putrid Blood debuff. He still casts Explosive Corruption in this phase, and it's imperative that you get out of the group with this. Cahoon will now cast a new ability once he reaches 100 energy called Gaze of Cahoon. It's a fast cast. Everyone must look away from him when he does this or you'll get a 6-second fear. On Heroic, he gains a new ability called Malignant Growth. It'll affect 3 portions of the room. Everyone needs to sidestep to the non-affected portions, but after 4 seconds, those will be affected as well. When those get affected 4 seconds later, the first 3 portions will explode, so you want to sidestep to those areas after they explode, and then repeat this process. And that's Cahoon and the entire Uldir raid.